Good morning. I'm just going to go over the math expectations for today so that you know exactly what the assignments are. The first is lesson 21, activity 1. We did this the other day, and so we're completing this as a review. So I'm not going to go through exactly what it looks like. It's the pie graph from the other day and answering the questions on there. So everything should be cleared on your assignment, and then you should be able to complete that again as a review. So I'm not going to go over each step and how to do that because hopefully you remember. If you're doing paper copies of that, please make sure that you are taking a picture and uploading it as an attachment on our assignment today in Google Classroom. Okay, we're talking about the mean and the median today. Another word for the mean is the average. Okay, so if you might have heard that term used a little bit more. The average of something. So the average, when we are finding the average, especially with these numbers, we are going to use a calculator to add them up. So I know a lot of times I'm saying, hey, use your paper and pencil, try to find another way to find out what the answer is without a calculator. This one, we are encouraging you, please use a calculator. If you don't have one, please let me know and I can get one for you. So use a calculator and add all these up. So we're adding up all of these numbers that are in this table: 65, 120, 50, 150, and 95. So we added all of these up and the total number is 480. Okay, this would have probably taken you quite a while had you done this on paper and pencil, but I know you could have. It's just a little bit easier when we're finding the average because a lot of the numbers get pretty large, and it just helps with when you're trying to focus on what you're actually doing to get these steps done rather quickly instead of taking too much time and getting frustrated on just the first step. So we added all of these up using a calculator. Now, step 2, it says there were 5 items on the chart, so we're dividing it by 5. So if there were only 3 things, we would divide it by 3. So here's what you need to do when you're finding the average. You add them all up and divide by the number of numbers you used. So I know it shows us up here that there are 5 numbers, but over here we also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we are dividing by 5, 96. So our average is 96. The reason that step 3 says that we need to round to the closest number is because when you're dividing, a lot of times you get a number on your calculator that would be like 96.85732, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of times there are decimals that come along with it. So we're just going to round to the nearest number. Okay. So this one comes out evenly. And so 96 is our average, which is also the mean. So the average number of sports balls in the school is 96. So notice that 96 is nowhere on here, okay? We're not trying to find a number that's already in our chart. What you're trying to find is the average. So you add them all up and divide by the number that you've added, of the number of numbers that you've added. These numbers over here are for the median, and we'll get to that in just a second. All right, so the median is the number that's in the middle, okay? So median means middle. When these numbers over here are the order of smallest to largest, okay? So number 1, they numbered as the smallest, okay? So 50 is the smallest, and then 65, and then 95, 120, and 150. So this helps us put the numbers in order, okay? So this is the smallest number, so it was written first. Step 1, write the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So we wrote the numbers 50, then 65, 95, 120, 150. These are all the numbers from our chart. Okay, so we wrote all the numbers in order from smallest to largest. If it helps you to use a hundreds chart to figure out which one is which numbers go in order, I can get you that as well. So once you have the numbers in order, you're going to find the number in the middle. So you're going to cross off the ones on the ends first. One here and one here. And then you're going to do the second one, and the second one on this side, and there's only one number left. So that number is the number that you circle, and that's the median. So that's all that means. You're finding the number in the middle. Okay, let's give it a try. So move this over. What we're going to do first is order these numbers from smallest to largest. So when you click on these, it might give you, it's going to give you a choice, okay? So this number is the smallest. I'm going to put a 1. Which number comes
1,
next? Which is the next smallest? All right, 86.
2,
And now we need to look at the hundreds. So we have 112, 145, and 105. The number that's the smallest is 105. So if we take off this 100, right, we can just look at these numbers here, 12, 45, and 5. That helps us a little bit.
3,
There we go. And then we'll do 4,
4,
and then we'll do 5.
5,
So now we have the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So this will help us when we find the median. Next step, now I need to zoom out, my goodness. Okay. So we're going to put all of our numbers on here and add them together. So what I'm going to do is pause my video so that you can see all of the numbers at the same time, because otherwise you're trying to remember what these numbers are to put them in. So I'm going to go back, and you can pause your video and check all these numbers out, and then I'll put them in as well so we can make sure that we're on the same page. I went back, and you could maybe pause the video or take a look at this or write your numbers down so you'll know which numbers you're using to find the average. It's a little bit larger again for us. Okay, so here are the numbers we're going to use. 86, 112. I'm not putting them in order from smallest to largest right now. All I'm doing is putting the exact numbers that were in our chart. And then you're going to add them all up. I got 520, so that number goes right here, 520. And then what number goes here? It's 5. All right, so we had 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're dividing this by 5. Oops. So I got 104. That means the mean or the average is 104. Okay, so for this next part, I'm gonna move this up. We're writing the numbers in order from smallest to largest. Remember on our page before, we were able to put them in order from smallest to largest. So I'm going to go back to that page so you can take a look at it. If you need to write these numbers down or pause the video to do this, you sure can. And now we're going to write them from smallest to largest. Okay, in our practice, this was already done for us, so we didn't have to do it. So we're going to use these tools over here, and we're going to cross them off. Remember, write them in the order from smallest to largest, cross them off, and we're going back and forth. So you can't just start here and cross them all off. It's not going to work. You're going to go 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. And our last number is the median right here. So we're going to use the circle tool to circle it. So the median is 105. We're going to use that number to decide, will all of the schools have exactly the same amount of sports balls? Is it likely, unlikely, or impossible? Do you think they'll have the same amount of sports balls? We're using the data that we just found to figure out these questions. So will they have the same amount, exactly the same? This is a good word right here. Okay, so exactly. So do you think all the schools will have exactly the same amount? I would say that's unlikely, right?
unlikely,
Sorry, that's super loud. Because they're probably not going to have the same. Okay, when we're talking about probability and finding the median, which is the middle number, and the mean, the average, we're finding out what is most likely. Okay, so if they're having the exactly the same amount, that's unlikely. Okay, will the schools have enough sports balls? Of all those numbers that we added, those were all the different balls of different kinds of sports. Will the schools have enough sports balls for the students to play sports? Probably likely, right?
Likely.
Again, I use that word probably. Will each school have enough sports balls for all of the students in the United States?
Impossible.
Right? So all of the students in the entire United States. All right, when you're finished, please push the globe and the home button, and we will continue again tomorrow. Since tomorrow is a flex day, I'll have some things assigned to you on Unique, and most of them will be review and an opportunity to play the L3 skills and to catch up on any missing work. So I will assign to you what I have noticed is missing so that we can all be on the same page. All right, thank you. Sorry, my video got a little long, but now we all know what to do. So thanks for working hard.